On a recent visit to Kentucky, we spent a day exploring Kentucky Horse Park in Lexington, Kentucky. We had a great time and are going to share with you what the park is like so you know what to expect when you visit. We stopped by the visitor center to buy tickets, which cannot be purchased online. Tickets are $28 for adults, $23 for seniors, $21 for service members with military ID, and $14 for kids from 5 to 17 years old. Kids 4 and under get in free. The visitor center also includes a theater showing a film that we did not see. The park has a bunch of horse statues, including perhaps the greatest and most famous racehorse, Secretariat, and also one of a horse named Staff Sergeant Reckless, who served in the Korean War. One day in March 1953, this horse made 51 round trips, most of them by herself, to take ammunition to the various firing sites. She walked 35 miles that day through an active war zone, up steep mountains, through open rice paddies, carrying a total of 386 rounds of ammunition to our troops on the front lines. The park covers over 1,200 acres of land, featuring the park's attractions along with competition facilities and a 260-site campground. Each day features a schedule of events, some of which happen more than once per day. The schedule starts with the horse-drawn trolley tour. This trolley tour does happen twice a day, but we suggest you take this tour when it first runs at 10 a.m. The tour takes you around the park with a tour guide telling you a bit about the buildings and horses and attractions that the park offers. It's a great introduction to the park. We arrived a little too late to take the morning tour, so we took the trolley tour in the afternoon. We still enjoyed it, and we still learned a few things we didn't know, but we had already seen much of what the park has to offer, so the tour was mostly a look at things we'd already seen and a review of things we'd already heard. We are still glad we took the tour, but this would be a great way to start your day and become familiar with the layout of the park. There were 2 trolleys running when we took the tour. There are too many guests to fit in the 2 trolleys, but no worries. They keep running the trolleys until everyone in line for the tour has had an opportunity to take the ride. The tour is about 15 minutes long.
We attended a show at the Breeds Barn called the Equine Showcase. This showed off 5 different breeds of horses. A couple of them were just led around the outdoor arena on a lead, but the other 3 had riders. There's an announcer who tells you all about the breed of horse as it parades around the arena. The show is on the schedule to happen twice a day. The announcer let us know that the afternoon show will feature 5 different breeds from the morning show that we enjoyed. So if it interests you, you can certainly go to both shows to see 2 totally different sets of horses featured. Each of the breeds gets a chance to shine on its own in the arena. Then the show concludes with all 5 horses coming out for a finale. This show lasted a little less than 20 minutes. When it was done, guests can walk around and see the horses close up, pet the horses, and ask the handlers questions about the horse, which we certainly did. After that, the horses' stalls at the Breeds Barn were open to the public, so we got to look at the other horses who weren't in the morning show. In all, there seemed to be probably about 20 horses in the Breeds Barn. Some of them live full-time at the park, others are just loaned to the park for the season. Next, we went to a program in the Big Barn called the Draft Horse Presentation. This program features information about the large, powerful horses historically bred for heavy labor like hauling and plowing. Draft horses can weigh over 2,000 pounds and stand 16 to 19 hands high. Horse height, we learned, is measured in 4-inch increments called hands. The horse's height is measured at the highest part of the horse's back, also known as the withers. After the presentation, guests were invited to walk around the Big Barn and see all of the draft horses in their stalls. The highlight of this was seeing a Clydesdale mare named Blaze with her foal Linny, who was just born in January of this year. There are also some examples of the types of carriages draft horses are sometimes used to pull in the Big Barn.
There is a memorial to Cody Dorman, a sick child who received a visit to Kentucky Horse Farm from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Cody and a young foal seemed to have a connection after the horse approached Cody and interacted with him. They ended up naming the foal Cody's Wish, and the horse went on to be a very successful racehorse, winning numerous major races and awards. Cody traveled to see a number of these races in person. Cody passed away the day after Cody's Wish ran his final race. Cody's Wish is now retired from racing. This memorial stands in honor of Cody and of the relationship between horses and humans. We also passed some horse grave sites. There are about 50 grave sites around the park featuring a number of well-known racehorses. The security team for the Kentucky Horse Park is the Kentucky Horse Park Mounted Police Force. They have their own barn with a presentation daily, which we missed, but the barn is open throughout the day so you can go in and see the horses who serve alongside the human officers. The Kentucky Horse Park Mounted Police patrol the park 24 hours a day, every day of the year, providing crowd control and acting as first responders for any emergencies that take place in the park. We attended the Hall of Champions show. This show features actual retired champion racehorses. We watched video of their career highlights in racing. Then the horse would be led out and walk around the theater as the announcer tells us about the horse's life and racing stats. There were 3 horses featured during this show that lasted a bit over 20 minutes. There were other retired champions in the Hall of Champions barn who were not part of the show, but there were a couple shows throughout the day at the Hall of Champions barn, so I imagine they switch out horses that are featured in each show. The barn is open all day, so you can stop by to see all of the horses up close.
The park has 3 museums on site. We visited the largest of the 3. It's called the International Museum of the Horse. It's a Smithsonian affiliate museum, and it's also the largest museum in the world dedicated to the history of the horse, their relationship with people, and their impact on human civilization. Included in the museum was the history of workhorses and racehorses, as well as their role in the colonization of North America by Europeans. There are a lot of old horse-drawn carriages on display, like this Concord coach mail carriage. There's a lot of information about the history of horse racing as well. That exhibit included a display about African Americans who were involved in horse racing. There was an exhibit called Heart of the Horse about horse culture in Japan. And there was a very interactive exhibit called the Almara Arabian Horse Gallery. It had a lot of cool technology on display throughout the exhibit. My favorite part of this exhibit, though, was all about the Black Stallion. The Black Stallion was a series of books and movies, which I enjoyed as a child who was really into horses. So it was cool to see an exhibit on the topic here. There are a couple of other museums at the horse park that we missed. One is the American Saddlebred Museum, which we didn't have time for after spending over an hour and a half in this museum. The other one is called the Wheeler Museum. It's about the history of the equestrian hunter-jumper discipline, which is at the headquarters of the U.S. Hunter-Jumper Association, which is located on the grounds of the Kentucky Horse Park.
We also did not check out the kids' barn, where kids can learn through play about horses and how to care for them, but we did see some adorable miniature horses in the kids' barn yard. I will share a few final important details in a moment, but before I get to that, our tour ended back in the visitor center at the gift shop. They had all the usual souvenirs, shirts, hats, magnets, toys. Jack was also especially happy to see these Breyer horse toys. When he was a 5- and 6-year-old boy really into horses and cowboys, he got a bunch of these horses and a stable for Christmas one year. Around the time he was 7, He-Man and Transformers pulled him away from horses, but it still made him smile to see these toys. Here is some other information that may be helpful as you plan a visit. During the main season, which is mid-March through the beginning of November, the park is open every day except Tuesdays. Hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you visit from November through mid-March, the park is closed on both Mondays and Tuesdays, but it is open from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday during the off-season. For an additional $35, you can have a 35-minute guided trail ride on a horse if you are at least 7 years old, at least 4 feet tall, and weigh 240 pounds or less. There are also pony rides available for kids weighing no more than 100 pounds for $10. We were at this park for 6 hours and still did not see everything, but we did have a great time. There is a lot of walking, so wear good shoes. If needed, the park will loan you a wheelchair at no cost for the day, which is pretty incredible because most parks we go to will rent you a wheelchair for the day, but this is the first one we went to where they are available at no cost for those with mobility needs. If you were wondering about food options, there was a cafe open as well as a food truck selling grab-and-go snacks and drinks. We were happy we were able to take Jack's mom along with us on this trip. She grew up on a farm with horses and really loved this experience. I've never really been into horses or been around them much, but I also loved this place. It is a really great horse theme park and we highly recommend it. If you would enjoy some more horse content, click the links at the end of this video to see more. And be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so we can see you the next time we're traveling through.